Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to the ESL R1 Runners-Up Cup here on RENNSPORT, and today is round 4 of this season and we are here at Hockenheim, as you can see, and we can already see one of the big contenders for this race, but we will talk about that later. We are right now on qualifying. But as usual, I'm not alone today because I'm joined by Remco Major here in the commentary booth.
Hello and good evening.
Yeah, it will be quite interesting today. We've seen 3 races so far. I think all of them had a lot of story to tell, if you want to say so. It doesn't matter if you watched here on the live broadcast on the RENNSPORT channel or on the highlight clips on the Friday or on basically tomorrow's stream. Because, I mean, we've seen so much going on at Orchard, plenty of action in the season opening at Daytona. So Hockenheim is a very different track to what we had so far. We had 2 high-speed tracks with Daytona and Monza, but then we had a street track with Orchard, and Hockenheim is something very different. So maybe
Actually, Hockenheim might actually be the first normal racetrack we're going to. And although the first 3 races have been won by Nico Nunninghoff, something interesting has happened earlier this week. With the RWL, or the RENNSPORT Weekly League run by Tim Ireland, where Nico Nunninghoff didn't win a race. First of all, it wasn't only because of the crash he had, but also at the beginning of the race, we had someone called Tim Schreuder, who was also in this race, who was actually getting in front of him in the race. And after that, apparently his pace, I was in a race myself, so I didn't know at the time, but Tim Schreuder apparently had the pace to be like close to Nico Nunninghoff at least, whilst Nico Nunninghoff has put a lap time now of 1:37.5 and takes the first lap time out there. Of course, pole position for now. Mark Edmondson follows it up with 1:39.1. So there is still a bit of gap there, but look at Tim Schreuder. He will be there. Also, Dominic Ladler found a lot of pace earlier this week, and I hope to see that back in this race to maybe put pressure on Nico Nunninghoff. He definitely cannot make a mistake, which he has just done earlier this week, and it looks like Dominic Ladler does a 1:38.6, which is 1.1 seconds off of Nico Nunninghoff, and don't get this wrong, that is not a lot. Even though it is a lot, but compared to Nico Nunninghoff, that's a very good lap time.
Yeah, if you are basically new to the ESL R1 Runners-Up Cup, those are, so everybody in the community can qualify for those races on the sessions on Wednesday. And Nico Nunninghoff so far has been the dominant force in this season. There's no doubt about that. He's very quick. I mean, he's also taking part in the PCCD, for example, and had good results. I mean, Robin Schätzler finished his lap, 3rd of the AMGs to do so. But another driver from the PCCD is Flavio Tusi, and the rest of the name he allowed us to ignore it, basically. And he's also very quick. He may not be the most experienced in the longer race, but this isn't a longer race. This is a full-on sprint race. Push it through for about, I think, 10 to 11 laps you will have today. And he puts it in 3rd with a very quick lap time, close to Dominic Ladler.
Yes, and I'm looking at the first sector of Tim Schreuder. I am skipping Lucas Pompilio, who's going towards the end of his lap. But it looks like in the first sector, Tim Schreuder is only 2/10 behind Nico Nunninghoff, so we will see what he will do. But right now it's Lucas Pompilio. I am very bad at that name. I don't know why. But Pompilio just put it in 2nd place with a 38.0, only half a second behind Nico Nunninghoff. Who is Pompilio?
That is very surprising. He's been 3rd in the qualifying race, but 7/10 of Nico Nunninghoff, now being 5/10 of. And Tim Schreuder goes wide.
And his 2nd sector wasn't good either, so he definitely wasn't up there. And looks like he got a slowdown penalty. He will probably start from the back of the grid. Tim Schreuder, going away from that BMW, has shot himself in the foot, because probably in a BMW with a little bit more front end downforce, you would have made that turn. It's good to see him try something different, but I don't think it is helping him. So right now there are a few drivers still needing to finish. Kanto Kukwere? Chukwere? There are a lot of new names this time around.
Indeed, a lot of new names.
But Chukwere, also an AMG. People really like the AMG right now because likely Nico Nunningham is beating everyone in them. But looks like Chukwere is not having the best of times. So 150 probably got a slowdown or two. Because that's definitely not just one.
Now Muldusu, I wanted to, because Muldusu is a very interesting name, because he's also in the YouTube chat, but that's not the same Muldusu we see on track right here in the Audi coming out of the final turn. He has won in the hypercar class 2 weeks ago at Spa. They both are very quick by the looks of it. Put in 7th in the Audi, which is pretty good. But
I mean, it does show that this is not a hypercar. This is a GT3, and he's not up there. He's very good. He's very quick in that hypercar, but this has a far less downforce and is a different beast. And right now, Gertjan van Os, quite a regular this time around. These days, and yeah, a bit of a drift, but that BMW is still very good. He puts in a 6th lap time of a 1:39.3. That is very good. But with Tim Schreuder being behind there, Lucas Pompilio being there half a second away from Nico Nunningham, do we think Joachim Thunder, also a regular, is going towards the end of his lap, do we think Pompilio can put pressure on Nico Nunningham with half a second difference in qualifying?
I'm sure he can when Joachim Thunder goes up into 7th. It's very difficult to predict that. I mean, we have quite the close gaps, especially in the midfield, seeing from Dominik Ladler to P7 and Joachim Thunder. It's only a second with 5 cars in between the two of them. I think it depends on how much they fight each other in the opening stages of the race.
I think it's going to be all about the start. If you can get a good start and get into the draft of Nico Nunningham, you will get that run on that long straight towards that hairpin. That hairpin is a prime overtaking opportunity around this track. Usually on track it's turn 1, but over here turn 1 is a very quick right-hander with a very short braking zone with only one line possible through there. Only in lap 1 you can go side by side there, otherwise it will likely end up in a crash or someone running wide. But over here you can see Pompilio going to that long straight. This is the part where you can get a draft and throw down the inside, but also if the inside is being defended, you can go towards the outside and try to outbrake him and then do a switchback. Definitely, if the guy with that defense outbreaks himself, the switchback is very strong because after that is quite a long straight again with one single kink in there. And if you can get alongside there, you again have quite a long braking zone. It depends on how close the field is this time around, but that is quite a prime overtaking opportunity as well, and you will likely see overtakes there. But because it's so tight right after that, you usually see a bit of contact as well. So, 30 seconds remaining in this practice session. Warm up for the race. Warm up, of course, a little bit different than qualifying pace. So yeah, they just have to get used to it.
I think the first lap will pretty much decide if Nico Nunningham can run away or not. If Pompey can get a good enough run on him on the first lap and get Nico Nunningham behind him, I think it might be very interesting and allow the pack behind, in terms of Ladler, for example, to stay close and close in on them and maybe wait for their opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. That is a possibility. Also, I'm not sure if Dominic Ladler is up to it this time around because his qualifying wasn't as good as I expected him to be. At Spa earlier this week, he was much quicker relatively to Nico Nunningham, and right now he is a bit on the back foot. The only thing that he can hope for is that Nico Nunningham gets swamped by Pompilio, and then that the rest of the field can pretty much annoy him, make sure he can't drive the lines he wants to drive, and that will be the overtaking opportunity for a guy like Ladler, who is a little bit behind there. But yeah, right now we're getting ready for the race.
Pretty much everybody getting on the grid, getting ready for the race. Of course, it will be a flying start. We actually had a short patch before this event. And the pole position is now on the right-hand side of the track. Now, what does that really change for the drivers?
Yeah, hold on. I'm getting a message from someone who works on this game, HN. He's a very good guy. He also created the tires for this track. And it looks like we are ready to go racing. So, here we are. The starting positions have been changed today for this round. So the leader will be Nicky Nunninghoff on the inside of turn 1. Safety car is ending. They are holding 80 kilometers of speed. And they are waiting for the green flag. Safety car is in. Red lights are on. And close line. It's waiting very long. It's waiting very long. And we are off. It's green and Nico Nunninghoff has a good start. But who is that? Dominic Ladler actually going for P2. Dominic Ladler going for P2. As I said, there's a bit of contact there. He goes back to P3. Behind Pompilio, but this does mean that Nico Nunninghoff will likely run away. He doesn't have any pressure from behind here. Behind there's a bit of archie-barchie, but still everything clean. No one has been spun around yet. It looks like Tim Schreuder's already up to 8th place. He gained a lot of positions at the start, but he will be on the back foot for the rest of the race. Right now, Dominic Ladler on the long straight. Behind him is Edmundson actually going for a move. And, oh, actually...
It's Schätzler going wide there and Gerd von Osch on the inside, but that's what you talked about. That's the switchback he can.
Yeah, he gets more speed onto this second straight, into the king. Edmundson cannot get in front of him, so he's vulnerable on the inside. Will there be archie-barchie? No, but, oh, Schätzl hit the inside curb, the sausage curb, and that makes it vulnerable to Gert-Jan van Os, who is directly pressurizing it. But behind him, it's Tim Schreuder. Tim Schreuder going for it. And oh, that's a dangerous turn to do it, but will we do it? Oh, that is really close, and he doesn't make it, but still. A lot of pressure. Tim Schreuder on Van Os. It just went like an accordion. Like, one guy attacked, got attacked. That guy got attacked, and it just went. That was very good racing, but at the front of the field, it's as expected. Nico Nunninghoff driving away from Pompilio because Ladler put like a stick in front of Pompilio's plans of attacking Nico Nunninghoff.
I mean, for Ladler, now he's basically isolated Pompilio from Nico Nunninghoff. He can go for moves because those two are far closer in pace than Nunninghoff and Pompilio. So if he can stick to him, as we see a bit of contact between Van Osch and Van Osch's round being tagged by Tim Schreuder, and that's the two Audis of Muldusu and Thunder going through.
Oh, I totally missed that. Did you see what happened there?
It looked like Tim Schreuder was on the inside of the BMW. And it's very hard to tell in the moment. Unfortunately, we don't have live replays for this stream. But it looked like either Gerd von Osch moved in on him, which could be a bit of a move, or Tim Schreuder missed his braking point and ran to the outside. Whatever it is, it will probably be looked at after the race in a way, but it's hard to judge of what you see live on stream.
Definitely, and it of course will be done after the race because in 10 laps on quite a short track, it's just too short to have a live steward for this kind of races. But right now it's Edmundson being under pressure still from Robin Schätzl. And it looks like that is at this moment a close battle on track, aside from Tim Schreuder, who of course fell back after that and is trying to move back. And it's Schätzl going around. Just a little bit too much throttle, and these tires are very hard to control once you go over the limit. And that puts him under pressure from Tim Schreuder.
Well, and the two Audis have gone through, and it's a bit of contact again.
as I said, if you go side by side to turn 1, it's either contact or someone will run wide, and it looks like he ran a little bit wide, but still side by side. Tim Schreuder thinking better of it, probably going into the draft right now, into the dirty air, get a bit of extra top speed, and set up for an attack into the hairpin here.
I mean, what happened in all of this is that both the Audis of Joachim Thanner and Adam Muldus have moved up to 6th and 7th within the lap. They were, I think, 8th and 9th or 8th and 10th at the beginning of the lap. And now they are running very good. And Schätzle completely missing the breaking point, nearly collecting Muldus in the process, but Schreuder is through.
I mentioned the tire model, and it is hard to control over the limit, but once you overheat the tires, it's also very hard, definitely if it's the rear tires, to keep it in a straight line. And if you start braking with hot tire, oh, Derek, try it again. Again, runs very wide. That's not going to work like that. Meanwhile, in front, it's still Nico Nunninghoff, Pompilio and Later are 1 second away from each other, but behind that, it's Flavio Tusi, which we haven't mentioned yet, really, because there wasn't much action happening around him, but Mark Edmondson is right behind him. So those are 2 AMGs with the same livery. It's going to be hard to keep them apart, but here we go. It looks like that they're going to the first sector. This is not the place to overtake, but at least you can build pressure here. And if you make a mistake turn 1, he's showing himself. He's letting him know, I am here. And if you make a mistake, I will get an advantage over you and I will pass you. And looks like is Tusi not defending the inside. He's actually, Tusi breaks early. Tusi is going for the draft. Actually a little bit of a switchback, so we can get more straight line speed onto the straight. And it looks like he will get the draft. Is this tactic gonna be good for him? Because right now he does need to outbrake himself. He was a little bit too close to get a real run up to him because of the draft. But here we go towards the hairpin. He's in the outside. Mark Edmondson on the inside. Mark Edmondson brakes. Oh, he parks it on the apex. Gets a tap from the rear from Tusi. I mean, a little bit of rubbing is okay, but I mean, Tusi is not too happy about that. Yeah, parking on the apex. It's a tactic that I do myself, and it's really hard for the guy behind who can't get momentum because of it. But it's a tactic, I guess. And meanwhile, it's Robin Schatzel under pressure from Tim Schreuder again. They are side by side, a little bit of contact. Doesn't matter though, but I think Tim Schreuder has, you know, realized that he had made contact with people, that it got a little bit messy and that he's not going for a good position anymore. So he holds back a little bit.
I mean, one thing that I kind of noticed in this race is that basically the AMGs are infighting a lot. We have Schätzle against Schreuder, we have Edmondson against Tusi. Meanwhile, Edmondson, by the way, he was not the luckiest so far this season, wasn't he? He had a good run at Daytona. At Orchard, he spun out in a very good points-paying position. Monza also wasn't quite his case, but so far this could be his best race so far.
Yes, but he still has to defend from Tusi if he wants a good finishing position. Because, and of course, there is a danger when you're battling that you turn around, that you spin, like Tim Schreuder has shown many times. He got the pace, but makes mistakes in qualifying in the race and falls back, and with that you will not get good finishing positions. Right now it's Flavio Tusi again in the draft. Will he try for a move? No, he stays behind. He thinks better of it. Meanwhile it's behind Robin Schatzel. It's going for Arda. And they're going side by side, and look who's there. Tim Schreuder makes it 3 wide. That's dangerous there. There is a kink coming up. And in that kink, you cannot go 3 wide, and Tim knows it. He sticks it behind. There's a bit of contact between the Audi and the AMG, and Tim Schreuder sees a chance, but oh my god, around the outside, Schatzel, that's a beautiful move. Beautiful move around the outside, and he makes it stick. And that means that Tim Schreuder is actually putting pressure, oh dear, on Muldersu, but that was really a really clean move, really good. Oh, around the outside, does Tim Schreuder do the same? There is a lot of contact going there, and it looks like he gets momentum, but I did to the last turn. You cannot do that, you cannot do that through the last. He does it, he puts it in there, and he gets it in front. Will he keep it on track? He will. There's no move back. He got it. Those are 2 beautiful moves right behind each other, and again, in front, it's Edmondson under pressure from Tusi again. And is Tusi just waiting for the opportunity? Oh no, he's not. He is pushing because he got a nice drift out the turn. Not quick, beautiful done though, beautifully caught. But it will ruin his run into the hairpin. And that's the best chance to do the overtake. But, up front, can I just say that the last lap, Niki Nuninghoff did a 137.7 with Pompilio a 137.9. It's a shame that Pompilio could not put the pressure up at the start of the race.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, except for that moment at the start, though, we've only seen really AMG fightings against each other. The Audis of Joachim Thunder and Mildus and the Porsches of Pompilio and Lala have pretty much gone in tandem since then. And of course, the Audis now split, but it's really a bit of a topic in this race, isn't it? Of course, you won't see it like that in other competitions, because maybe it will benefit you, but in this case, it's everybody for their own.
Oh, definitely. I mean, everyone just chooses the car they like the most. People are choosing the AMG right now a lot, I've heard, because they like how it drives. Since the 1.8.5 update from RENNSPORT, people really started enjoying that car. Before, they didn't really like it, and now it feels good. It feels like they could push it. And as you can see, a lot of them are able to push it. They get oversteer and they can catch it. Whilst on other cars, that might be a little bit harder. But the likes of Dominic Lattler really stick with the Porsche GT3 car, which is a little bit more nervous with the engine in the rear. But if you like that driving style, you can be just as quick. It doesn't matter which car you choose. I personally choose the Audi R8 Evo. You can be quick and win.
Yes, Gerd van Osch is trying to get a bit of a comeback in this race. Of course, he had that unfortunate incident with Tim Schroeder where we don't really know who's to blame, or if somebody's to blame. Of course, there's always the typical racing incident that can happen. But he's trying to make some places up. And he also has some points to his name already. So it's also for his championship tally as Tim Schroeder is getting closer to Robin Schätzle. He's not been using the flasher as much as in other races or as other competitors in this race. I just want to mention that.
I mean, yeah, there should be rules against that, I think. Because definitely, if it works correctly, it can be really annoying. But then again, people are going to try everything. Can I just say that Tim Schreuder, I talked about his pace. Did a 138.3 last lap, with it compared to 138.1 from Lucas Pompilio. It shows again, Tim really needs to get his stuff together, because he will be a contender for the top 2, definitely. Right now, Nico Nuninghoff has picked up the pace. Pompilio might have made a mistake, because he did it at 138.7. Maybe he has burned up his tires. Dominic Latter is driving the exact same lap time. There's like 400ths of a second in between them in lap time and 2 seconds on track. But it looks like at this moment, Robin Schätzle with Tim Schreuder, who, as you said, is starting using his flashing lights. And right now is setting up for a move into the hairpin again. We got a really good run from the draft here. He's far enough away to be able to get a bit of top speed over him. But will he make the move? And will it be defended? It doesn't look like there's a defensive move out there. And he is just going towards the inside. Robin Schätzle around the outside. Will he try for a cutback? Oh, yeah, Tim goes wide. And here's the cutback. He gets alongside. And if he can get that right kink correctly, he might be in for a very good comeback. Will he try the outside maneuver again? And it doesn't look like it. Tim knows it. Brakes a little bit later, has a worse exit, but he defended the comeback from Robin Schätzle. Yeah, beautiful move. Textbook stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said before, Hockenheim is the first, I'd not say real, but classic racetrack. It's the basically typical racetrack you would imagine, such as Hockenheim, Nürburgring, Spa. And it is made for this kind of stuff. And this really shows. Every track has their own challenges, but in Hockenheim it's actually keeping the position after getting a move done. Because if you get the move done, there are so many opportunities for your opponent on track to strike back, to counterattack, to make use of an error you make on exit or something, because if you compromise something on this track, it will bite you back at the next corner.
Oh, definitely. One corner into the next corner. That's how classic tracks roll, and you know, that's the fun of it. I mean, it's not a very wide track either, so if you make a mistake, you will be in trouble. And it looks like in front, Nico Nuninghoff is getting close to starting his final lap. He is going to the stadium section right now, the last sector of this track. Behind him, it's Pompilio still, who has a 3-second gap almost over Dominic Latler. Looks like Latler is taking it a bit steady. He doesn't want to take any risks. He's not in the position to go attack Lucas Pompilio, and he's not under pressure from Edmundson. Edmundson, by the way, is not under pressure anymore from Flavio Tusi. There is more than a second gap between them right now. It looks like he gathered it around, and although they're driving the same lap times, it doesn't look like Tusi can put pressure on Edmundson. Behind them is Joachim Zander. What? 1.5 seconds in front of Tim Schreuder. Is Tim quicker though? Yes, he is. 1 second a lap. Can he? That's actually one of the most interesting parts right now. Tim Schreuder, can he go for a P6, overtake Joachim Zander, because he's a second a lap quicker, and he goes into the last lap of the race.
It will be
I think
tricky
there's a little bit too much. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be tricky to overtake in the end of the lap, especially. I mean, the best overtaking.
He has done it before.
He has done it before, but that was because Medusa was already compromised by Robin Schätzler.
But it's possible.
It is possible.
If he puts Joachim Zander under pressure and Joachim Zander makes a mistake, he is there. Joachim Zander is not allowed to make a single mistake right now.
When was the last time Joachim Zander did a mistake, though? Think. He is one of the most consistent drivers in this game so far. But for Dominic Ladler, as you just mentioned before, it's also about championship points, because even though he didn't have the, let's say, top level results of a Nico Nuninghoff, he's still in the hunt for P2, I think, with his consistency. He has been P5, P6 consistently. You bag a lot of points for that, and many of the people who finished in front of him, like the likes of Ottaviani, they are not here.
Definitely.
He will gain a lot of points on them.
And we are in
Flavio Tusi was off.
Oh, Flavio was off. And at the same moment, it's Nico Nuninghoff taking the win. But it looks like there's a very interesting battle on the last part. That came out of nowhere. And I said that Joachim Zander didn't make a mistake. Got 5th because of it. But can Tim Schreuder actually do that move into the last sector? Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's way too far. And it looks like Flavio is going to keep that position 6. But he lost a position unnecessarily, I think. But it's Nico Nuninghoff in front of Lucas Pompilio and in front of Dominic Latler, completing the podium here. And, I mean, Mark Edmundson, he drove a very steady race. Shame he didn't have the pace to attack Latler.
I think he will be pleased with that race. For him, it's a good result. Especially after the hard races he had.
3 tenths between Tusi and Tim Schreuder on the finish. That's good racing.
I think so far this was probably the most action-packed race we had. Great driving by all of them. But Nico Nuninghoff wasn't as far ahead as we are used to, I think. And coming the next round, will we maybe see some close competition to him?
I mean, what track is the next track now that you start talking about it?
I mean, we've gone through...
You don't know?
No, I actually know, but we've gone through the top speed tracks in Daytona and Monza. We had the street track in Orchard. Those are very different challenges. We are now at a, let's say, more classic circuit like Hockenheim, and next time will be Road Atlanta.
Oh dear, yeah, that's a track. That's a long straight as well. It's very challenging. A lot of quick turns flow into each other. And in those parts you can't really overtake. And of course, the prime opportunity to overtake is into the last chicane, because it has a long straight. So yeah, it's going to be tough there. And I think it's going to be a real driver track. So I bet you we will see Nico Nunninghoff not being under pressure there. Unless one of you guys who's watching right now thinks you can beat Nico Nunninghoff. Make sure that next time when ESL Runners Up is on Wednesday evening, there is the qualifiers for it. And if you qualify into the top 12, you will be in this main race, which is, of course, live streamed again.
And if you already want to get a taste of some of the competition you will encounter there, either in-game or on the broadcast, of course, if you have beta access, it's always worth it to try it out. You can join tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. because we will have our next RCE event in Daytona with the Hypercar and GT3 car. We already know a few drivers who will partake there, who were here today. The likes of Mudusu, Thunder and Lada are always there, so there is some tough competition out there. No matter what car you want to drive out of the two classes, you are invited to join. And I think we will see a lot of action as well.
I am definitely sure we will see a lot of action because every race has been interesting until this point. And of course, RENNSPORT, I mean, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
No, I won't. I will be playing tennis.
Oh, well. That's a huge disappointment towards the end of this
And on that bombshell.
But there's still a lot of people you can look forward to be seeing on the track, or maybe join yourself, as said. Also, we will have an extended grid, of course. As for the RCEs and RCLs, we will have 24 cars instead of just 12. More cars, more action. So that will also be very interesting.
Definitely.
Any final words from your side for today's race?
It was really exciting today. A lot of battles all around the field. People being under pressure. Some people making mistakes under pressure. It will be interesting to see what happened to Tim and what happened in that incident. But I think that they are fair drivers. They will talk about it. They will say sorry and they'll move on. Racing is racing. Stuff happens. And I mean, next time you'll do it better. And of course, again, congratulations to Nico Nunninghoff, who won another brilliant race, very steady, mistake-free. And I hope next round, I mean, I keep saying it every week, but they're getting closer every week. So I get more and more hope that we will find someone that can beat Nico Nunninghoff.
Well, pretty much. I can only add to that. I think it will be very interesting. Road Atlanta will be, I think, in terms of racing action, be quite similar to what we've seen today. It's a lot more driver's track, but it offers great racing. The final race will be in Spa. We'll have a lot of action in Spa coming up, but Spa is probably the most drivers racing track, or the most drivers' favorite racing track.
Funny that you say that, because beginning of this week, with the race that I was talking about, which Nico didn't win, was at Spa.
Indeed. And
Can you remember who won that race?
I think it was you.
Yes, that was me. I just wanted to get it in, just my stroking my ego.
I mean, that's typical of you, I guess. But of course, it was very different circumstances. It wasn't a sprint race; it was a 1-hour endurance race in that way, and it was pretty much on an accident occurrence. And Nico Nunninghoff has been very dominant up until this point. But as he said previously, he was challenged by Tim Schroeder in the first lap. He couldn't build the gap to the likes of you, Dominic Ladler, and Joachim Thunder that easily in the same machinery, so all GT3 cars. It will be very interesting and definitely worth checking in. But until then, we still have Road Atlanta to go. And you can enjoy the RCE tomorrow. You can enjoy ESL R1 tomorrow. Check out the Discord. And we see you next time. Until then, have a great time. And goodbye.
Goodbye.